Is reading a right? You've probably heard the phrase, the right to read. It's a slogan, a movement, a powerful call to action. But slogans can sometimes blur the truth because while the idea sounds noble, even urgent, it can be misunderstood. Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode on KZ Academy. I'm Misty, a credentialed teacher with over 20 years of experience in second language acquisition, mathematics, and elementary education. Through teaching, coaching, and tutoring, I've dedicated my career to helping students, parents, and educators understand the science behind how we learn. This episode is inspired by posts I have been making since 2018 in online forums, which helped lay the groundwork for what is now known as the science of reading. Many of the key ideas that Emily Hanford later presented as her research were already being discussed and shared by me in these forums before she brought them to a wider audience. It's gratifying to see that the techniques I've been refining for over 20 years are now being embraced across America. Her voice played a crucial role in raising awareness and bringing these ideas into the mainstream. Today's episode is about, is reading a right? What is a right? In this country, we have rights that are guaranteed by law and protected by our Constitution. Rights such as freedom of speech, the right to vote, and the right to due process. You don't have to prove anything to get them. You don't have to demonstrate you're ready. You don't have to earn them through effort or performance. They're yours by virtue of being a citizen. Legally and ethically, they cannot be taken away. That's what a right is. Something you are entitled to simply by being human, or in some cases, by being a citizen. It doesn't depend on how hard you work. It doesn't require talent, dedication, or persistence. It's not something you earn, and it's not something someone else has to judge you worthy of. It just is. Whether you use it or not, your rights are yours. Is reading a right? So let's take that definition and try applying it to reading. Can we really treat reading the same way? Can we say that every person is entitled to be a reader in the same way they're entitled to free speech or the right to a fair trial? At first, it might seem like a noble goal. Of course, I want everyone to be able to read. Of course, I believe literacy is important. But there's the problem. Reading doesn't work like that. You can't just hand someone the ability to read. You can't simply declare someone a reader and make it true just by saying the words. No law, no policy, no well-meaning declaration can install the ability to read in someone else's mind. That's because reading is not a guaranteed entitlement. It's a skill. Reading as a skill. Skills are not rights. They are fundamentally different. Skills require effort to learn. Lifelong learning through hard work with a positive attitude and integrity. You don't become a skilled pianist because someone gave you a piano lesson. You don't become a dancer because someone gave you a pair of dancing shoes. You don't become a swimmer because you've been handed access to a pool. In each of those cases, someone can provide the tools, the space, and the instruction, but none of that makes you the learner able to do the skill that you are learning. To actually become proficient in any skill, the learner has to put in the work to learn. Reading is no different. The learning process. You become a reader by learning how to read, and that process, I'm not going to lie, is hard. It takes time, effort, repetition, and struggle. I can guide you, but I cannot do the learning for you. And that's a distinction I want to emphasize. As a teacher, I can guide you. I can break it down into manageable steps. I can give you strategies and feedback. But there's something I can't do. I cannot do the learning for you. Even with the best, most effective, research-based methods available, I cannot install the learning of reading into your brain. I cannot create the necessary connections in your mind for reading to happen. That part, the actual learning part, in the end, only you, the learner, can do that. Practical tips and resources. In upcoming episodes, we'll explore practical strategies for effective reading instruction. But if you're eager to get started now, check out my Learn to Read Teacher's Manual, Volumes 1 and 2, and the Student Learn to Read and Write Journal. These resources offer a clear, systematic path for teaching letter recognition, phonics, and blending. It's like having your very own step-by-step guide for reading instruction. Now back to the conclusion. The misunderstanding of reading as a right. The personal effort involved is often the part that gets overlooked when people say reading is a right. It creates the false impression that reading is something that can simply be handed out or delivered. But that's not how it works. Reading isn't something you just receive. It's something that you have to work hard to earn. No teacher, no matter how skilled, can turn someone into a reader alone. We can explain the process, we can model it, guide it, and support it every step of the way. We can choose methods that are grounded in evidence and proven to be effective. But no matter how well we teach, we can't do the learning for the student. We can clear the path, but we can't carry them on it. Reading doesn't happen to a person. It is built by the person with attention, repetition, and effort. The learner has to do the thinking. They must take the lessons taught and make them their own. They have to practice. That's the nature of building a skill. Layer by layer, knowledge becomes ability. Every child deserves the opportunity to be taught with methods that work, rooted in science, delivered with skill, and supported with care. Because while no one can give a child the ability to read, we can give them the chance to build it for themselves. And that chance should be afforded to everyone. It's not enough to hope children become readers. We must teach them, we must support them, and we must help them rise. Because reading isn't something you're born knowing. It isn't something you're owed. It's something you earn with time, effort, and practice. We can't guarantee the outcome, but we must guarantee the opportunity. That is the right every person deserves. If you found this discussion helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And as always, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep exploring the fascinating world of education. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.